Hey, it's Doris with Aldi Books, and are we ready for a haphazard Friday reads? Because it's coming at you right now. So, according to my little Post-its, my knockoff brand Post-its, I have read 2 more of my BookTube Prize books. I read those from my library on ebook format and won't be talking about those just yet, but soon, I think the 1st of April. I have also finished 2 more of the Faber stories. Oh, and I haven't read all of this week. I just haven't gotten around to a Friday Reads in a couple weeks or any this month yet, so it's a backlog. But I finished Edna O'Brien's Paradise and Sally Rooney's Mr. Salary, 3-star and 5-star, and these were both for the Irish Readathon as well. I'm not going to talk about them because there is Sean and I are doing video chats of these, and we have this one loaded, and this one should be loaded in the next day or two, so stay tuned for that. I'm also planning on starting Samuel Beckett's Dante and the Lobster today and hopefully finishing tomorrow. And this one is also for the Irish Readathon. Okay, and quite a while ago, several days ago, over a week ago, probably at the beginning of March, I finished Anya Seton's The Winthrop Woman. I started this back in January and got derailed because of various other readathons and reading plans, but I finally finished it and totally enjoyed it. I ended up listening to this on audio at 2.0 speed. I know, I said I couldn't do that, but I did. And this one turned out to really work for me at that speed. This was a slower paced novel, and it just sped it up more to my in my head reading pace, if that makes sense. So yeah, it really worked in that way. Anyway, this was set in the 1500s, the colonization of the New World, the Americas, North America, the English colonies. And so Anya Seton just takes a historical event and people and writes their story. She fictionalizes it, but she, you know, doesn't try to have a fictional story arc. She just goes with the story as is, and she tries to, she's really good at making things interesting when they need to be, and concluding the story where it needs to be concluded. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Very interesting stuff she talked about there. Okay, and then for the YA books that I got from my high school library, I finished To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. This is a YA romance. The girl, she's the middle sister of 3 sisters, a single dad. The mother passed away when she was young, and the boy next door is dating her oldest sister, and her oldest sister breaks up with him and goes off to college in Scotland. They're living in the States, and yeah, very delightful and charming. There's a little lover's triangle, but it's one that you will enjoy. The premise of this is that every time she's never had a boyfriend, but every time she has a crush on a guy, she writes him a love letter to end things. And she keeps all of these in a hat box that her mother gave to her. And someone finds them and mails them out to the people she wrote them to, but never intended to deliver them. Yeah. Oh man, do you feel embarrassed for this poor girl. But it's a charming story. I really enjoyed reading it. It was quite fun. However, the romance does not resolve in this book. You have to get the second, and it's a trilogy. What in the world? What is the world coming to when a YA romance does not wrap itself up in one book? Oh, man. I also have started Queen of Aran Darkness by Cassandra Clare. This is part of the Dark Artifices series. There are 12 of these. There's the original series, which is a trilogy, and then she wrote a second trilogy based on those same characters, which I read because I'm invested in the characters and the world. I like her world building and her characters, but it's bad enough for a YA romance to be 3, but for a YA fantasy to have the romance, and these all have romances in them, to stretch out over 6 books was just a bit much. And you know, that whole keeping the couple apart because of reasons driving the plot, it gets to be annoying, but still I read them. So this is the second, this is a spin-off trilogy. I hope it's a trilogy because she's gotten really big with her books. The first 6 weren't this huge, but anyway, I'm boring you, but yeah, I'm listening to this on audiobook, but I got derailed with it because my sister came to town this week, but she's gone back, so I'm going to be back to listening to that. Okay, and then with the middle grade March, I checked out some from my elementary library, and I read the graphic novel Ghosts, which is about this family, these 2 sisters that move from, I guess, Southern California to Northern California for the sister's health. She has cystic fibrosis, and they meet little ghosties, and this is just really delightful. I thoroughly enjoyed reading this. And then I also finished The Wild Robot by Peter Brown. This is about a little robot that gets shipwrecked, and she is the only robot to survive. And she ends up learning to live on this wild island and meeting all the little forest folks and helping them. And it was cute. This is one, it's written on a 5th grade level, but I would say mentally it's more of a 3rd grade level, except for there's quite a bit about death in it. So you may want to read it first and see if your kid's ready for that. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a little bit boring for me mentally, if that makes sense. But yes, there was that one. I also finished a reread of Silver People, which this is not Silver People. But Silver People is written, it's older middle grades, YA, written in verse about the manual laborers in the building of the Panama Canal, and it is just beautiful. I love it. I loved it just as much or even more so the second time around, and I picked it up again because I am buddy reading The Path Between the Seas by David McCullough. I'm buddy reading this with Patrice and Heidi and really enjoying it. I love this type of nonfiction where it takes a person or an event and just talks about it in depth and everything surrounding it. So yes, this is very enlightening. And again, I got a little bit behind in this buddy read because my sister was visiting, but I hope to get caught up today. We're supposed to be halfway, so I need to get halfway today. And then what else do I have here but more buddy reads? Hoping to finish some this weekend. So I have started C.J. Sanson's Dissolution. This is a mystery, a historical mystery series based in Tudor England, I guess just after the Reformation. And I have been intrigued by this because I keep seeing Mel talk about it, and Tombland just got on the Walter Scott prize list. So that's like, I don't know, the 7th or something in the series. So I couldn't pick that one up. But I picked up Dissolution, and I'm actually buddy reading this with Kate Howe and Kate from Novel Nomad, and totally loving it. This is so good. It's a mystery, but it's really historical, and I'm intrigued about the church politics at the time. And yes, definitely loving this, and maybe we'll finish by the end of the weekend because I'm really engrossed. Also am enjoying Wondersmith, The Calling of Morgan Crow. I'm reading this with Heidi. This is a middle grade fantasy series that is just absolutely delightful. We're in the first year of school, and she's developing little friendships, and I'm just here for that. So definitely hoping to finish that. Planning on finishing it today, actually. And then Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. This is set in the Old West as on a cattle drive to Montana. Texas Rangers, lots of characters, and I'm really loving this. I didn't think I would, but I so am. I don't know why I doubted all the people that kept reading it and being shocked that they loved it. So anyway, I'm buddy reading this with Robert from Barter Hordes, and Kendra Winchester and Jacqueline from 6 Minutes for Me. And yeah, I think I'm supposed to be finished with this weekend too. Again, I'm a little behind, but this is surprisingly easy reading, and for me a page turner because I just really enjoy the characters. So maybe I will finish that this weekend, maybe. And then I also have started Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I enjoyed the first 50 pages, but got derailed with other reading, and hope to pick this back up once I finish those other 3 buddy reads. So I think I'm reading this one with Jenny King, and I think she's on page 100-ish. So yeah, got to get to that one. This is it set 1945, 1950s, and it's, I think, going to have a bit of magical realism in it. It's, right now, the boy is in his tween years, I think, and yeah, it's very interesting from the onset, so I'm curious to see how it develops. So that's what I've got on hand. Hoping to get a lot of reading done today since I'm off work, my last day of spring break, plus the weekend, you know. But anyway, that's what I've got. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye. So vlogging didn't quite work out when my sister was here, but I did film a few clips. So at the end here, I forgot to mention, I'm attaching our visit to Belle Mead Plantation, which is a thoroughbred breeding farm from the 1850s, and they have a winery now that's modern, and we did a little wine tasting, so that's coming up. Belle Mead Plantation, circa 1853.